The president of Zimbabwe meets Maxwell Chikumbutso. A new age of innovation begins. In a historic moment, President Emerson Mnangagwa of Zimbabwe personally meets visionary inventor Maxwell Chikumbutso, the man behind the world's first self-powered electric car and aircraft. The camera moves across the grand marble driveway of the State House. A fleet of black electric SUVs stand quietly, their engines silent. Above them, security drones float in the air, scanning the area for signals. Inside, the nation's leader reaches out to shake hands with the man the world once thought was just a myth. Mnangagwa smiles. Maxwell, Zimbabwe is ready. Let's begin. The room grows silent. History is about to be written. For years, Maxwell's name had been whispered in both wonder and disbelief. The inventor who claimed to have built a self-charging car, a generator that needed no fuel, and an aircraft that could fly without traditional engines. Now, sitting face to face with the president, this once dismissed engineer was no longer just an inventor. He had become the key to a nation's rebirth. As they sat down, the table filled with blueprints and digital schematics. Some pages carried Zimbabwe's national seal, while others bore the logo of Scythe Technologies, Maxwell's secretive lab in Harare that had long been hidden from public view. Maxwell leaned forward, his voice calm but filled with energy. Mr. President, what I'm about to show you isn't just an invention. It's the foundation of a new Zimbabwe, a country powered by endless energy. The president listened intently, nodding slowly as the weight of Maxwell's words sank in. Then Mnangagwa replied, "We will not let this be taken from us again." It was more than a statement. It was a vow, echoing decades of pain when Africa's discoveries were stolen, suppressed, or buried by foreign powers. This time, things would be different. Moments later, a black motorcade rolled out of the presidential compound. Their destination, a heavily guarded facility just outside Harare, the headquarters of Scythe Technologies. As the president entered, the lights came alive. Inside stood the impossible, a generator spinning without fuel, a car charging itself without a plug, a small drone hovering on its own, all powered by the same mysterious technology. Every screen in the control room displayed the same strange code, an energy equation that Maxwell once called the secret to resonance. He turned to the president and explained, "It's not perpetual motion, Mr. President. It's resonance. We've found a way to connect with the natural electromagnetic frequencies of the atmosphere, energy that's everywhere around us, every second. But until now, no one knew how to use it." The president looked at him, clearly moved. "And you've done this here, in Zimbabwe?" Maxwell smiled. "Yes, and it belongs here, to our people." The next morning, the news broke across the world. International media scrambled to verify what they were hearing. CNN called it Zimbabwe's leap into the unseen energy frontier. BBC ran the headline, "From Gold to Energy. Zimbabwe's New Revolution." Inside the State House, Mnangagwa signed a confidential directive, the National Infinite Energy Initiative, NII. Its mission, to turn Zimbabwe into Africa's first fully self-powered nation, running entirely on renewable, self-sustaining energy systems created by Maxwell and his team. Solar fields would merge with atmospheric energy harvesters. Electric vehicles would power every government fleet. And near Norton, a new city powered entirely by Chikumbutso's grid, was already being planned. When energy becomes infinite, Maxwell said quietly during the signing, poverty ends. The president nodded. Then let that be our legacy. But not everyone was celebrating. Within hours, major energy corporations began making frantic calls. Patent offices were flooded with emergency filings. A leaked memo from a global oil giant contained a single chilling line. If proven, Chikumbutso's invention threatens the entire global energy market. Intelligence agencies took notice. Satellites began monitoring Harare. In Washington, a private meeting of energy and defense officials took place. If Zimbabwe had truly unlocked infinite power, the balance of global control was about to change forever. Soon, satellite images surfaced on encrypted forums. They showed strange movements around the Scythe Technologies facility, new security checkpoints, communication jammers, and unmarked aircraft landing in the dark. Something big was unfolding, and the world was watching. In a dimly lit room in Washington, a senior official slid a photograph across a table. It showed Mnangagwa and Maxwell standing beside the generator. If this device really works, he said, half of the world's energy infrastructure becomes useless within a decade. Another voice answered coldly, then we either take control of it or make sure it never leaves Zimbabwe. Meanwhile, in Beijing, a different tone filled the air. China saw opportunity, not fear. During a quiet defense meeting, one strategist said, if Africa controls infinite energy, the future belongs to Africa. Through it all, Maxwell remained silent. He hadn't appeared publicly since meeting the president. Rumors spread that he was under military protection, developing something even larger, a prototype capable of powering an entire city without a grid. The project was called Mura, meaning rain in Shona. Deep in the outskirts of Norton, construction crews worked nonstop under heavy guard. The site looked unlike anything on Earth. A massive silver dome nearly 300 meters wide, surrounded by metallic petals arranged in perfect symmetry. It wasn't a building, it was a resonance field generator, designed to pull energy directly from the atmosphere and spread it across the region. During a private briefing, Maxwell's voice echoed with quiet excitement. Imagine cities that never go dark, homes that never pay bills, cars that recharge themselves. That's what Project Mora will do. When President Mnangagwa visited the site, the dome was only 70% complete, yet its core engine, a miniature version of the infinite energy system, was already active. The low hum it produced wasn't noise. It was alive, pulsing through the air and the ground. Engineers noticed the output wasn't just stable, it was increasing. The system was adapting, learning, evolving beyond expectation. One engineer whispered nervously, Sir, it's drawing power faster than we can measure. The president turned to Maxwell. Is it safe? Maxwell answered softly, as long as we respect the balance of frequencies, yes. But if we push too far, we might awaken forces we don't understand. That night, the skies over Norton glowed faintly blue. Villagers miles away felt a gentle vibration in the ground. Some thought it was an earthquake. Others called it a sign. Then, strange phenomena began to appear. Birds avoided the area. Compasses spun wildly. Drones lost control near the dome. When Maxwell studied the readings, his face went pale. The energy signature wasn't natural. Someone's interfering, he muttered. This isn't background noise. It's deliberate. He traced the disruption through encrypted channels and discovered it was coming from outside Zimbabwe, transmitted through a satellite relay. Someone was trying to sabotage Project Mora. The next morning, headlines exploded. Zimbabwe's energy dome faces mysterious attack. Governments denied involvement. Corporations claimed innocence. But behind closed doors, cyber battles erupted as global powers tried to access or disable Maxwell's systems before the dome went fully live. At the State House, Mnangagwa slammed a file on the table. They think Zimbabwe will bow. They think we'll surrender our innovation. But this is not just technology. This is our future. Maxwell stood beside him, eyes heavy with fatigue, but full of resolve. If we don't act now, they'll destroy everything. Then we protect it completely, the president declared. Within hours, the military sealed off the entire zone. Satellite jammers went active. Maxwell's team launched Protocol Zim, a failsafe that encrypted and fragmented all data, making replication impossible. But then, something unexpected occurred. The dome began to glow, slowly pulsing with rhythmic waves of light. The hum deepened, and the night sky shimmered in ripples of blue. Villagers stepped outside, staring in awe. From Harare to Norton, the horizon gleamed with a surreal brilliance. Inside the command center, Maxwell's voice trembled. It's syncing with the Earth's magnetic field. It's resonating with the planet itself. Suddenly, every monitor went black, then rebooted with one message: energy stabilized. Output infinite. Gasps filled the room. Outside, lights across towns and villages turned on, even in areas long cut off from the grid. Wind turbines stopped. Solar panels dimmed. Yet power flowed everywhere. Zimbabwe had just become the first self-powered nation on Earth. In Washington, panic. In Beijing, fascination. In Europe, disbelief. Energy stocks collapsed. Oil prices fell overnight. But in Harare, the president stood before the glowing state house and addressed the world. This is not a weapon, he said calmly. This is not a threat. This is freedom. Freedom for every African nation that dares to dream beyond limits. Today, Zimbabwe stands not as a colony of energy, but as a cradle of creation. Celebrations erupted across the continent, from Nairobi to Lagos, from Johannesburg to Cairo. Crowds cheered. And in the heart of it all, Maxwell Chikumbutso, the man once called a dreamer, stood silently, tears in his eyes. We didn't create power, he whispered. We only remembered where it came from. Years later, a bronze statue stood beside the original dome. Two figures side by side, President Mnangagwa, representing leadership, and Maxwell Chikumbutso, representing vision. The plaque below read, "To the dreamers who turned faith into frequency and power into peace." At night, the air around the dome still shimmered faintly, a quiet reminder that infinite energy now pulsed beneath every step on Earth. No smoke, no fuel, no limits, just pure energy, free and alive. And in that silence, humanity understood something deeper. The true revolution wasn't just technological, it was spiritual.